Welcome to the Sisters of the Shire Podcast. This is Ashley.
And I'm Abby. And it's a lovely day today. So whatever you gotta do, you've got a lovely day to do it in. That's true. It's beautiful outside. I'm sorry. I'm feeling it.
It's so
feeling
pretty.
The sunshine.
I'm very disappointed in you. I was waiting for one of your favorite bands ever. If that's the song you're going to sing, if it's sunny out, I'm disappointed you didn't do Good Day Sunshine.
Do-do-do-do. Good day, sunshine. Do-do-do-do. Good day, sunshine.
Just because I know that
Well,
the
if
Beatles
it's any consolation,
are one of your favorites.
I have like big metallic letter magnets for my fridge, and it says Good Day Sunshine on it on my fridge right now. So
it's like I know you or something. It does, I suppose. So how are you other than enjoying the beautiful sunshine out?
I know. It was 80 degrees yesterday.
Lucky.
I got kissed by the sun. I felt the burn in the shower when I took a shower. I'm like, oh, my skin. Let's just say that we live in a place where, like, when the sun comes out, I'm like, crap, where did I put my sunscreen? Like, it's not readily available, like, all the time. It's like gets packed away because it's not needed all the time.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to have to switch out. I have a basket of all the gloves and the beanies. I'm going to have to switch that one out for my sunscreen and my sunglasses basket.
And your hats.
And my hats, yeah.
We're at a fun time right now in our house. We're in the middle of soccer season, which I coach 2 teams, and it's really fun. Luna, my daughter, scored 7 goals yesterday.
Nicely done.
Awesome. I know. It was pretty great. She's I'm her mom.
You're a little
I feel
biased.
like anybody who, no, I'm not a little biased. I feel like whenever I say it, people are like, well, you're her mom. You'd say that. But stepping aside as her mom, as her coach, she's actually very good. Like, she's a very good player, and I'm very proud of her. Like, she's very skilled at playing, and I'm excited for her future in soccer. She loves it a lot. But it is really funny because she is only 7. I know that sounds funny. You guys are probably laughing at home. She is only 7. But for being 7, she is very skilled in like ball control and like very strong foot into getting it into the goal. You would think she was older, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But it is really funny because she plays against other first grade girls, and they like come up to her shoulder, like maybe. And so she's like, I really hope other parents or other coaches are like, why do they bring this ringer like this, like this 4th grader?
That she does the steroids.
Yeah. Is she roiding? Is she roiding right now?
That's funny.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Good for Luna.
I know. I'm really proud of her. She's doing really good. And then Fox is doing really good. He's in the higher levels of playing because he's older. The goals aren't as many, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it levels out.
Yeah. So it's like the score doesn't get as high. But last game, I kind of felt bad. It was like 12-2, and we won.
Did you take people off the field?
Yeah, well, yeah. But Fox got his first goal, and that was amazing. He kicked it from outside the box, actually.
Nice.
Over everyone, and it hit the top pole and hit the side pole and went in.
Nice.
It was awesome.
It's like, I planned that.
And he looked at me like, he's like, what? I was like, yeah, man, you did it. He was so excited. And that was a good game. Yesterday and the boys' game were really good because there was a lot of kids who aren't to that level skill-wise.
Right.
That scored. That got a goal.
That's awesome.
That worked hard and took it there. And you could tell in their eyes, they're like, I did it. And I was like, yes, you did. And that's the moment I'm like, see,
this is why we do it. Yeah.
This is the sport you like. Because I feel some kids never get that feeling, and so they kind of drop out and they're like, oh, I'm not good. I'm like, no, you just got to keep working at it, got to keep practicing, and you will get that, like, a little taste of the glory, just to see what it tastes like.
See, you'd be such a good coach
because
really fun, you're so nurturing and so encouraging. I would be like the perfectionist, like, you didn't get it in. You should have just, no net, Fox. What were you even aiming for, Fox?
Yeah. I feel like I have like a mom aura around me because they come up to me when they're like got hurt or something and they just hug me. 90% of our soccer games is my shoe's untied. Can you tie my shoe?
Whatever happened to the thing where the Velcro went over the laces so they stayed tied? You remember those?
I know. I don't see many of those anymore. I think they're a little bit more expensive soccer shoe.
Or they had like rubber, like silicone things that went over them too.
Yes, I've seen those.
Yeah.
I've seen those. Those are pretty cool. That might be my end of the season gift.
There you go.
My team. Like, hey, we're wasting time out there tying shoes, gang.
Oh, yeah.
Let's not do this anymore.
Step up our game this next season.
And then my other exciting time in the house right now is that it's cosplay season. I'm getting back. I'm starting.
What's it gonna be?
I'm starting my cosplay. This is normally the time of year that I start working on it.
You told me some ideas, but I'm not sure which one you actually are going with. What did you choose?
So I've been going to Comic-Con since 2016, 2017.
Somewhere in there,
and doing cosplay, like big cosplays.
Like she builds them, you guys. She doesn't just dress up. She builds things.
If you guys want to follow along my cosplay building stuff, I have an Instagram called Cosplay Blast, BLAST, just at Cosplay Blast.
It's really cool. Go
on
check
Instagram.
It out.
Anyway, me and my two friends, I've pulled them in with me, and they're finally going to cosplay.
You're doing
with
that
me.
one?
Yeah. We're going to be the 3 good fairies from Sleeping Beauty.
Yay.
But we're kind of giving them a little bit of an upgrade, and they're not going to be just like plain dress, one color kind of situation. We're kind of doing themes for each fairy. So my friend who's going to be Flora, the red fairy, she's going to be kind of like a garden fairy. So on her hat, it has like bees and a vine of like blackberries and some like leather and like satchels and belts. And her dress, the skirt bottom is going to look like a flower, which I'm really excited about, of different tones of red. And then my other friend is going to be Fauna, the green fairy, and she's going to be more of like woods with like twigs and moss and mushrooms.
I'm shocked that's not you. I thought you were going to be that one.
I know, but if you look at her, you'll be like, oh, that's her.
Okay. So you're Merryweather?
And I am Merryweather.
She's my favorite.
She's the blue fairy, and I'm doing more of a night sky, kind of like stars and dark blues and crystals and things like that.
Cute.
And so we're real excited. We're meeting tomorrow to start sewing together.
Cute.
I'm getting excited. We're starting.
Oh my gosh, what if you had...
So if you guys want to follow my journey on that,
what
Cosplay Blast on Instagram.
If Luna was Aurora and Fox was Prince Philip.
Tiny little Briar Rose.
And Fox was Prince Philip and Oakley was Maleficent the dragon.
I wanted Oakley to be a tiny little bunny in a boot.
Or that too! Oh my gosh, Luna could totally be Aurora. She's got the hair for it. And she would
be a tiny
rock
Briar Rose,
a Briar
like
Rose
little...
dress. Yeah.
I know. She would.
That would be so cute.
I know.
So
I'm getting
cool.
started in that. I'm excited.
Can't wait to watch that journey on your Instagram. Cosplay Blast. Check it out. She freaking won first place last year, guys. She freaking killed
Best in show cosplay at Rose City Comic Con.
Heck yeah.
It was pretty awesome.
And one day,
one.
it's on our bucket list, is to do a Lord of the Rings cosplay together. We can't decide on a costume yet. Maybe we can have you guys vote in, but it's on my bucket list, you guys.
I think we should just be hobbits.
Yeah,
I want to be a comfy little hobbit.
But are we going to be boy hobbits or are we going to be girl hobbits? Are we being Rosie Cotton with the little corset things and the dress and the apron? And
yeah, how cute.
That'd be pretty cute.
And
then we could dress up our girls as them. Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right, well, we'll work on it. We'll work on it. Speaking of our children, I have to share the story just because I'm like, and this is when I decided that my daughter was the one. She is chosen. She is meant for more. I forgot what we were even doing. I think we were talking about like nicknames or something like that. And then she looks at me and she does this glare thing lately where she just like scrunches up her eyes and just like, glares at me. And she goes, "You're a Morgoth." I was like, what? Just like totally out of the blue. And I'm like, where did you even hear that name? And she goes, "From your podcast, mommy." Like she listens. Like I'm not even offended that she called me the bad guy just because I'm so proud that she knew the name.
It's like that Anchorman quote. He's like, I'm not even mad. That was amazing.
Yeah, exactly. So I had to share that.
That's amazing. Well, I don't think you're a Morgoth.
Oh, thank you. And like, she didn't even mean it in like a mean way either, because I don't think she really understands that he's the bad guy. But I mean, she knows now because I had to tell her, I'm like, that's the bad guy, right? She's like, oh, okay. Yeah, you're still Morgoth.
Wait, why was she calling you that?
I don't remember. I was thrown by her just even knowing the name.
Yeah, definitely an Anchorman.
Yes.
I'm not even mad.
Not even mad. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Okay, so how much do you remember of last week?
So I remember that Hurin, I want to say it like that, Hurin finally got released because I feel like Morgoth released him just on like, I'm just going to psychologically torture you now, like even more, and released him, and he made it back to, he like went back to where his family was, but there wasn't anybody there.
Right, which I thought was a very odd detour. Like, why even go there? No one's there.
Yeah. I can't remember the middle, but I remember the big part at the end. Like, I don't remember his, like, montage journey until he gets to the end where the big part that I remember. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So he was Morgoth's prisoner because when he was fighting in the Battle of Unnumbered Tears, it was only Hurin and the army of Gondolin left fighting against Morgoth. And his old buddy Turgon was there fighting with them with the army of Gondolin. He's like, I got this, dude. You guys live to fight another day. I got this. He sacrificed himself for his buddy Turgon. And then he was taken prisoner and put in the timeout chair. And Morgoth turned on the Children of Hurin TV show and then cursed him and all of his bloodline. So everything that happened to Turin, everything that happened in Nienor, Morwen, Hurin was just forced to just sit and watch his children and his wife in their misery. But a key thing to put in here, especially for this episode, Morgoth somehow twisted the TV show. He fixed the script so that Hurin only saw the bad things. He just kind of skewed the vision. So instead of like rose-colored glasses, it'd be like smoke-colored glasses. I don't know.
Poop-colored glasses.
Yeah. So after Hurin is let go, like you said, yes, he did go to Hithlum, his old hometown, but doesn't find much there. But he realizes that, as he's kind of wandering around, he is near Gondolin, his old buddy Turgon's hidden city, but he can't seem to remember where the secret route is and he can't get in. So he just starts shouting to any eagles that might be listening, because remember, he was saved by eagles at one point and literally eagle dropped into Gondolin. So he's like, maybe that could happen twice. I don't know. So he's like shouting to any eagles. He's like, hey, if someone wants to give me a lift, that'd be nice. But nothing happens. And then he has this very heartbreaking, sad moment where he just is yelling. He's like, Turgon, remember the Battle of Unnumbered Tears when I saved you? Did that mean nothing to you? Okay, bye. Like, he just is very sad. Do you want to build a snowman?
Oh. Oh no.
And then he gives up and he just falls into a very sad
Bye.
sleep. Yeah. Meanwhile, the servants of Morgoth were actually following Hurin, and Hurin has just given them Gondolin's hiding spot. And so they reported back to Morgoth and was like, exactly, according to my plan. Mwahahaha. But also, the eagles did hear him. And they even flew to Turgon and Gondolin and was like, hey, I think Hurin's outside trying to find you. But Turgon's like, isn't he still like a thrall of Morgoth? Something must be wrong. So I'm not going to help him. But then he's like, well, I actually do really like Hurin. So yeah, why don't you go get him? And the eagles try and find him and he's already gone. So while he cried himself to sleep, Hurin had a dream that Morwen was calling out to him. And he got the sense that she was near the forest of Brethil. So Hurin starts heading that way. And while he's going, he stops at the gravestone of his children, Turin and Nienor. And that's where he finds Morwen. And she is old and weak and sad. And she's like, I'm going to die soon. But it's really sad that our children are gone. By the way, how did Nienor even find Turin? And Hurin's like, Look at the pretty sunset. Isn't that pretty over there?
Yeah. Distraction.
So they sit together and hold hands until she dies. And then he says one of my favorite lines of the book so far, she was not conquered. And so he buries her there next to their children and adds her name to the gravestone.
Oh.
So sad.
And he's still alive.
He's still alive.
But now he's got righteous fury on his side.
Yes.
He's angry.
He is angry. I should stress that too. When he was sitting there before he buried Morwen, he was kind of building up all this anger. He's at that stage of grief where he just wants anger and revenge in his heart.
Yes.
It was funny. I was outlining this episode last night and I was like trying to type revengeance. It's not a word, but I feel like it should be.
Yeah, like Thor. We're the Revengers.
Oh, yeah. Forgot that part. So, yeah, that's where we left things last week. Are you ready for more? Hurin, can you handle it?
Okay.
So, like we said, Hurin is still alive, and it is an interesting move on Tolkien's part. He could have had Hurin die there with her, just one big happy family
grave.
4 gravestones for the price of one.
Yes.
But no. Quote, Hurin does not lie there, for his doom drove him on, and the shadow still followed him.
Huh.
Yeah. So, where do you think Hurin should go next? Where do you think he's going to go?
King Thingol.
Close.
That's my guess.
He actually is going to head to Nargothrond for some reason.
Oh. And that's
the cave kingdom that Finrod Felagund had built that Turin lived in for a time and Glaurung has recently vacated.
Okay.
So on the way there, Hurin actually sees the hill Amen-Rud in the distance. And remember, that's the place where Turin lived with his wolfmen and the petty dwarf Meme for a time. And I should probably point out that Tolkien doesn't always specify what things Hurin did see and what things he didn't see, but he does specifically point out here that Hurin knew what happened at the Hill of Amen-Rud. So
he knew that
what happened with Meme.
Yeah, they killed the dwarves and then Meme ratted them out.
Yep. So just keep that in mind.
He saw it?
Yeah, he saw that happened. His TV show.
Okay, can we, the reality show name for it? What would the reality show name be for what he had to watch?
The Torture of Hurin.
This week on The House of Hurin.
The House of Hurin. Morgoth edition. Oh no, what was the word that they said about accursed, the unlucky, the...
not doomed, the...
Oh man. Well, I like unlucky.
Anyway, we're going to call it this week episode on the House of Hurin. We saw a petty dwarf Meme. A dwarf get murdered. And then the man came in and then the father of that dwarf seeks revenge.
Yes. So Hurin continues on to Nargothrond. And since Glaurung is dead, he's not there anymore, so he doesn't have to worry about that. And if you remember, Glaurung did destroy the bridge that was leading into Nargothrond that Turin had built. So it's a bit hard to get to Nargothrond, but somehow the fallen stones from the bridge have ironically created a sort of bridge across the river there. So Hurin kind of is able to jump, hop, and skip across the river using the stones until he is at the doors of Nargothrond that are, of course, also broken from Glaurung. Glaurung just destroyed everything.
Does Morgoth know his dragon's dead?
I assume so.
Okay.
So Hurin is about to enter the doors when suddenly someone appears from within Nargothrond.
Okay.
Who do you think it is?
Who's still alive?
I was literally thinking about that today. If you had like a poster board of all of our characters and, we just put red X's
and then,
through.
X's.
Yeah. There's going to be a few today that we've...
No, it could be like a game of Guess Who. Like you flip them down if they're dead. Who's left over?
Yes. So it's actually our old buddy Meme, the petty dwarf. Because remember, after betraying Turin's location to the orcs of Morgoth and running away from Beleg, he eventually made his way to Nargothrond.
I mean, the audacity.
But also, if you remember,
back to that.
He had told Turin that the petty dwarfs had actually lived in the caves there before Finrod Felagund made it the kingdom of Nargothrond. So I kind of get it.
Okay, but do you think he's telling the truth?
Yeah, who knows? But also, since Glaurung is gone, Meme has just been Scrooge McDucking it amongst all the treasure that Glaurung had hoarded there. Yes, Scrooge McDucking it. I hope you understand that reference. If you're not, get off this podcast. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Who are you? You a cop? You have to tell me if you're a cop.
Quote, and he took possession of them and sat there fingering the gold and the gems, letting them run ever through his hands.
He is Scrooge McDuck.
Right?
It's the beginning of dragon sickness.
Yep.
That's where it began.
Yep. So when Meme sees Hurin approaching the doors, he immediately is like, who are you? What are you doing here? This is my stuff. But Hurin replies, quote, who are you that would hinder me from entering the house of Finrod Felagund?
He's like,
But Meme fires back. Quote, I am Meme, and before the proud ones came from over the sea, who are the Noldor, dwarves delved these halls. I have but returned to take what is mine, for I am the last of my people. So I kind of see his point. I mean, who else is going to live there? No one else is claiming it.
Elves don't really live in caves, I feel like. So,
well, Finrod did, and Thingol does.
Well, caves.
Yeah.
Or like, yeah.
But the fact that Meme is just sitting there all by himself, fingering gold and gems, you know, that doesn't sound like much of a life. Like, he needs a purpose. Like, why even? Like, what is your plan for the day? Just, okay, I'm gonna work on these diamonds over here, and then go back to the rubies later, and then I'm gonna take a shower in the gold.
Yeah.
Like, there's just not much to live for, I guess.
Yep, it's the dragon sickness.
It is the dragon sickness. But then, remember, Hurin is a bit touchy lately. He's a bit angry. He wants his revengeance. And he says, quote, then you shall enjoy your inheritance no longer, for I am Hurin, son of Galdor, returned out of Angband, and my son was Turin Turambar, whom you have not forgotten. And he it was that slew Glaurung the dragon, who wasted these halls where now you sit. And not unknown is it to me, by whom the dragon helm of Dorloman was betrayed. He knows.
Whoa.
He knows. So, of course, in case you're not catching up on that, Hurin is, of course, referring to Meme telling the orcs where Turin and his gang were hiding. But I do want to point out that Meme did specifically ask the orcs to spare Turin's life. Like, yes, he ultimately did betray him, but, you know, at least he tried saving Turin. But obviously, Hurin doesn't know that. So this is our first example of something that Morgoth may have let him only see part of the story.
He edited it.
Yeah.
Hard to say. Try to say he edited it.
I add the edited it just because it's impossible. Edited it. Yeah.
He edited it.
He edited it. But Meme is hearing Hurin accuse him of betraying his son, and I'm sure he's seeing the anger-crazed eyes that Hurin has. And Meme immediately, I feel like this is his like go-to move, begs Hurin to let him live. Just take whatever treasure you want. Just don't hurt me.
Yeah.
I feel like he goes to that move quite often.
You know what? He's giving me a little bit of like, there's characters like this in a lot of different stories. Like, what's that guy's name from Harry Potter? Mundungus.
Oh, yeah. Mundungus Fletcher.
And then he's like, just let me go. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, he tries to be all tough, and then he's like, there's a lot of characters like that in a lot of different stories, but that's what I thought
they're
about.
They're very greedy, and they're all about saving themselves at whatever cost.
But also, they like let other people do all the work, and then they come in and they're like, okay.
Yeah.
I'll take this.
Mm-hmm. So Hurin has a choice. Forgive him, or he can kill him. And Hurin is a man of vengeance and action now, and he completely disregards Meme's pleas and, quote, slew him there before the doors of Nargothrond.
Oh, yikes.
Yikes.
Not a great day to annoy Hurin.
No. But I have to point out, here's a weird thought that I feel like kind of is just not really pointed out a lot. Hurin is described here as a very old man at this point. Gray hair, gray beard. He is literally using a walking stick to get around. So how did he kill this dwarf? I mean, granted, he's old too, but like, was it like the fight scene in Up between Mr. Fredrickson and Charles Muntz where they both try like lifting their weapons above their heads and both of their backs give out?
Yeah.
Like, I just find this scene funny in my mind. I don't know why.
Maybe it's like all the revenge just fueled him, like how a mother can like lift a car off her child.
Yeah.
Just like is suddenly buff.
So after Hurin slays Meme, he stays in Nargothrond for a while, but eventually, he leaves, and amongst all the treasures there, treasure from Valinor even, that Finrod had taken with him across the sea, Hurin leaves Nargothrond with only one object.
The helmet. No.
Nope. Okay, no. Speaking of the helmet, I was like, how come if he sees the Hill of Amun-Rud, why doesn't he just go get the helmet? What happened to the helmet? Come on, Tolkien, you could have used that time, but no, we'll never know what happened to the helmet.
That dwarf would have been killed a lot faster if he was wearing it, like when he walked in.
How come Meme didn't take the helmet back? You think like, ooh, this is nice. Like, I'll just take this.
Wasn't it dwarven made too?
What the heck, guys? So anyways, it's not clear if Hurin went to Nargothrond specifically for this object. I don't know how he would have known it was there. It's unclear. I'm just going to say there's a plot hole there, Tolkien.
I'm taking my CDs back. Where's my favorite hoodie?
But nonetheless, Hurin now decides to head towards Doriath. Like you said, he's got to go see Thingol.
So wait, what did he take?
You'll find out.
Ugh.
So he stopped by the border guards and escorted into Menegroth and brought before Thingol and Melian.
I was close. I said that he was going to go there.
Yep, you did. You called it. Quote, then Thingol was filled with wonder and grief when he looked upon him and knew that grim, aged man for Hurin. So I think I brought this up in the episode when Tauren was sent to live with Thingol. I don't know if Hurin and Thingol ever met. Maybe it's in another book. Maybe Thingol recognizes him like he looks like Tauren. I don't know. But somehow Thingol recognizes this old man before him as the strong Hurin that he may or may not have met before.
But I thought Tauren looked like his mom.
True. Yeah. So I don't know. Somehow he knows who Hurin is.
Mm.
So anyways, Thingol, the Elf King, who was once so prejudiced against the race of men, he actually welcomes Hurin into his home and treats him as a guest of honor.
Oh.
Good for you, Thingol. I'm so proud of you.
Nice. He's growing.
Growing. And Hurin doesn't say a word to Thingol at first. Instead, he just pulls out the one thing that he took from Nargothrond. It was a treasure most famed of all the works of the dwarves in the Elder Days, and it was one of Finrod Felagund's most prized possessions, prized even above all of the other treasures in Nargothrond. I only mentioned it once a long time ago, but now it's time to learn the significance of the Nauglamir.
Okay.
This was the necklace of the dwarves that the dwarves who helped carve the halls of Nargothrond for Finrod had gifted him. It was a bejeweled golden necklace that somehow, despite all the weight of the gems on it, sat lightly on the neck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Magic necklace. So, as Hurin is pulling out this blinged out necklace, he just tosses it at Thingol's feet and drops some, quote, wild and bitter words.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Crazy old man, go.
Receive thou thy fee for thy fair keeping of my children and my wife, for this is the Nauglamir, whose name is known to many among elves and men, and I bring it to thee out of the darkness of Nargothrond, where Finrod thy kinsman left it behind him when he set forth with Beren, son of Barahir, to fulfill the errand of Thingol of Doriath.
So he's mad about Baron now?
Yeah, it's meant to be as an insult, but it's a very roundabout insult for Hurin. Like, he must have had to think about it long and hard. Like, what can really get Thingol? What can I use against him? Aha! Like, okay.
Remember when he killed your son-in-law?
Yeah. But, I have to say, I'm very proud of our friend Thingol here. He sees the Nauglamir. He recognizes it. He somehow understands the insult that Hurin is throwing at him. But the once sassy, jerk-faced Thingol actually feels so bad for Hurin, he doesn't say a thing. Quote, but being filled with pity, he restrained his wrath and endured Hurin's scorn.
He's just like, okay, get it all out.
Yeah.
Get it all out.
Yep. Yeah, Thingol doesn't even try to defend himself. He just takes it. But Melian actually tries to be the voice of reason here. And she says to Hurin, quote, Morgoth hath bewitched thee, for he that seeth through Morgoth's eyes, willing or unwilling, seeth all things crooked. Long was Turin thy son fostered in the halls of Menegroth, and shown love and honor as the son of the king. And it was not by the king's will, nor by mine, that he came never back to Doriath. And afterwards, thy wife and thy daughter were harbored here with honor and goodwill. And we sought by all means that we might to dissuade Morwen from the road to Nargothrond. With the voice of Morgoth, thou dost now upbraid thy friends.
So she's like, okay, everybody, let's calm down. Mm-hmm. Like, I know this trick that Morgoth played on you, and it seems very real, but
we tried our best.
A skewed look at the story. Mm-hmm. This is what really happened.
Mm-hmm. And, I was thinking about this. So imagine if you saw the Turin episode of this show that Hurin has had to watch. But imagine if Beleg wasn't in the episode. So Turin leaves Menegroth, and then it looks as if no one cares enough to go after him. No one bothers to even try and find him. And they just bye.
No one helped raise him.
No one helped raise him, exactly. So, and I find it funny, like, remember I even mentioned, why do they care so much about, like, the reputation of make sure they know that we're good and we're nice, and, make sure we don't want people to think that we turned Turin away. Do you remember how he was like, make sure he knows that he's forgiven? But, Hurin happened to miss that scene. Maybe he took a bathroom break or something.
Remember, it's like the filter, like the sensor filter, but it's only good things filter.
Right. And also, imagine Morwen and Nianor's story without Moblung. So Thingol just let these two women go off to Nargothrond, where there is a dragon, all by themselves, and then just forget about them.
And then their horses go crazy.
And then the horses go crazy. Yeah.
And then they, like, run away.
Yeah. But Hurin doesn't know that Beleg tried his best with Turin. He searched for years to try and find him. Even looked after him when he said he wouldn't go back to Menegroth. Helped his buddies, gave him his lembas. I mean, Beleg went above and beyond for Turin. And poor Moblung had to deal with these two headstrong women wanting to go to Nargothrond by themselves. He escorts them, tries his best to protect them. Then Nianor goes crazy, still tries to help her, and just can't find her anywhere.
Because she's running around with no clothes on.
Yeah.
Being crazy.
So Hurin takes in Melian's words, and, he's just looking in her eyes, and, he is in Doriath. He is behind the girdle of Melian. Her protection shield kind of is there. And behind that shield, Morgoth's influence isn't able to touch him anymore. And Hurin just all of a sudden realizes the truth in her words.
He kind of got deactivated.
Yes. Quote, and tasted at last the fullness of woe that was measured for him by Morgoth. And he spoke no more of the past, but stooping, lifted up the Nauglamir from where it lay before Thingol's chair. And he gave it to him, saying, receive now, Lord, the necklace of the dwarves as a gift from one who has nothing. and as a memorial of Hurin of Dorlomin. For now my fate is fulfilled, and the purpose of Morgoth achieved. But I am his thrall no longer.
That's right, Boo. You're your own man.
Yeah.
You can do it.
So remember, part of Morgoth's plan of releasing Hurin was to set him against Morgoth's enemies. And the enemies that he has left are Gondolin, which he now has found out about, and Thingol and Melian. But luckily, it didn't work for Thingol and Melian. And he has realized the truth, and he doesn't want to be Morgoth's puppet anymore.
Good. Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
So after he gives the Nauglamir to Thingol, earnestly this time, Hurin leaves Menegroth. Quote, "And all that saw him fell back before his face, and none sought to withstand his going, nor did any know whither he went. But it is said that Hurin would not live thereafter, being bereft of all purpose and desire, and cast himself at last into the western sea. And so ended the mightiest of the warriors of mortal men."
What?
Yeah.
How come this family keeps throwing themselves in water?
Yeah. And, okay, I get that he is old. He's probably just filled with trauma and regret. But what a sad ending for such a man. And what an odd way to do it. I mean, that's got to be
I know.
a weird death. Not a weird death, but a torturous death. It's not going to be a fast death.
Yeah. It's not like a quick way to go.
Yeah.
Ooh. Well, he was a very tortured man.
Yeah.
Both in his mind and heart, so.
Might as well be tortured to death, too. But on his own terms. Yeah. On his own terms, though, I think is what the key thing is.
That doesn't make it sound any better, though. I'm going to be tortured by myself on my own terms.
So, R.I.P. Hurin of Dorlomin.
I gotta ask. I just gotta say. How does this affect the ripple of the whole story? What does their story, the sadness of all that, other than killing the dragon, because that was a big piece that they took out on Morgoth's side?
Well, we're about to find out. Because back in Menegroth, Thingol is looking at his new present, the Nauglamir. This is going to play a very important role in the next few episodes. Because Thingol gets an idea. So this is how I imagine
fashion show.
You know, I have this really cool gem. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called like a Silmaril or something. You know, my poor son-in-law gave up a hand and his life to get it for me. Can you believe it? But it's just kind of awkward, you know? It's just like by itself. I mean, I think he had to like take it out of like the crown of Morgoth even. I mean, but now it's just this like solitary stone. I mean, I can carry it in my hand, I guess, but like I almost dropped it last week when I was waving my hands around telling a story. That was pretty embarrassing. So what if I put the Silmaril, let's see, I'm not really a crown guy. I don't want to mess up my hair, but I've got this cool Nauglamir necklace now. What if I put it on the necklace?
Will it affect the magical weightlessness?
It doesn't say, but I'm assuming it still works. The weightlessness still works.
Whoa.
So, of course, well, Thingol has had the Silmaril. Over the years, he has grown to love it more and more and more. Quote, and
his wife didn't say like, "Hey, honey, this isn't a good idea."
Nope. You think she would have. Quote, "For as the years passed, she dropped the ball. She should have known better." Quote, "For as the years passed, Thingol's thought turned unceasingly to the jewel of Fëanor and became bound to it. And he liked not to let it rest even behind the doors of his inmost treasury. And he was minded now to bear it with him always, waking and sleeping."
Like the ring.
Mm-hmm. So you've heard of a pet rock? Well, Thingol has himself a pet Silmaril. And now he wants it on an already blinky necklace.
It's his precious.
It's his precious. But of course, the Nauglamir was made by the dwarves, so he can't just like switch out a jewel for the Silmaril. It has to be custom fit in. So, luckily for Thingol, he actually has had a good relationship with the dwarves. They'd often come through Doriath as they were traveling by. At first in small groups, but over time, larger and larger groups of dwarves would come through. And they came by so often that they even stayed in Menegroth in special chambers and smithies built just for them.
Aw, dwarf size.
Yeah. We got some nice dwarf rooms available for... So Thingol goes to the dwarf wing of his kingdom, and he gets some dwarves there, and he's like, hey, would you be able to remake this necklace to have this Silmaril in it? Quote, then the dwarves looked upon the work of their fathers, and they behold with wonder the shining jewel of Fëanor. And they were filled with a great lust to possess it and carry them off to their far homes in the mountains. But they dissembled their mind and consented to the task.
Good for them. Good job, guys.
But let's just imagine here for a second. Your great nephew, Finrod, received, let's say, a friendship bracelet from a friend, the dwarves. And somehow or another, that friendship bracelet comes to you. And you were to take that friendship bracelet back to the friend, the dwarves, and you ask them to take it apart and make it how you want it to look.
That's not...
Yeah, not very tactful.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. Like, blue's not really my color. Can you just, like, take it out of this, like, intricately woven bracelet for me? Thanks. Like, I didn't make it for you. So, Thingol was doing so good there for a minute.
And while you're at it, can you cross off the
Finrod?
While you're at it, can you cross off Finrod's name and put Thingol rules on there, please?
You'd totally do that. But, the dwarves, for some reason, agreed to do this for Thingol. And it takes them a long time. And the whole time, Thingol sits in their smithy and just watches them work.
Yikes. No, thank you. I hated when any boss or anybody would have to do that for me. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
The worst.
So they work until it's finally finished.
Do they sing the song from Snow White?
We dig, dig, mine the whole day through. Yeah. I had that in my head too. Quote, in time, his desire was achieved, and the greatest of the works of elves, the Silmaril, and dwarves, the Nauglamir, were brought together and made one. And its beauty was very great. For now, the countless jewels of the Nauglamir did reflect and cast abroad in marvelous hues the light of the Silmaril amid most.
Gorgeous.
So Thingol is so happy that the project is done. He hasn't been able to hold his pet Silmaril in so long. He's just so excited to try on this new necklace. And he reaches out to put it on. But all of a sudden, the dwarves are like, hold on, wait a minute. And they demand to Thingol that, you know what? I think this Nauglamir should go to us.
Oh, no.
And they say, quote, but what right does the Elven King lay claim to the Nauglamir that was made by our fathers for Finrod Felagund, who is dead? It has come to him, Thingol, but by the hand of Hurin, the man of Dorloman, who took it as a thief out of darkness in Nargothrond.
What? How did they know all that?
Right? So, first of all, why didn't you bring this up before doing all this work to add the Silmaril to it? If you really wanted the Nauglamir, why not bring it up before? Second of all, if you wanted the Nauglamir so badly, how come you guys didn't go to Nargothrond and get it yourself?
They make other people do the work.
Yep. And last of all, the rights of inheritance are a bit tricky here, but I don't think the ancestors of the creators of the gift get first dibs.
Yeah, it's such a touchy subject. It kind of reminds me of that part in
Harry Potter?
The Rings of Power show in the Rings of Power where they're like eating with the elves.
Oh, the table?
Durin's like, how dare you use this table? And then at the end, he's like, I just made that up.
Yeah. Yep. Well, it did make me think of two things. It didn't make me think of that, but that's a good example too. But it did make me think of Harry Potter when the goblin Griphook.
When the goblins... Yep. Yeah.
He's like, the sword of Gryffindor should belong to us because we were the one who made it. But clearly it was passed down to Harry and Dumbledore's will, Griphook. So it should belong to Harry, but, you know.
And also, it's so hard because it's like very, I don't want to say race related, but it's like of keeping things that are theirs in their culture kind of situation where it's like kind of eggshell, like tiptoeing on eggshells a little bit of like, well, it was a gift that you had made. Mm-hmm. So like, are we still saying it's a gift? Are you claiming it now like, oh, it's ours because our hands made it?
Right.
But you made it as a gift. It's
like a wedding registry. And then like if the wedding was canceled or something like that, like you don't necessarily get the gift back. Like you already gave the gift.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's also like you understand both sides. Like it's hard to, there's no black or white. It's kind of a morally gray situation.
Yeah. And the most common thing that's brought up with this particular part of the story is the White Gems of Lascalain, the part in the Hobbit trilogy that seems to cause the rift between Thranduil, the elf, and the dwarves. It's possibly like a distant echo of the story. I mean, it's not exactly spot on, like, but just the fact that it's ours. No, it's ours. Like, it's hard.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Morally gray.
Yeah. You can't just split it down the middle. But anyways, Thingol knows they don't want the Nauglamir. They would have brought it up before adding the Silmaril if they really wanted just the Nauglamir. So obviously, they're just wanting the Silmaril, which he's not going to give them, obviously.
Who doesn't?
Quote, and in his wrath and pride, he gave no heed to his peril, but spoke to them in scorn, saying, how do ye of uncouth race dare to demand aught of me, Elu Thingol, Lord of Beleriand, whose life began by the waters of Cuivienen, years uncounted, ere the fathers of the stunted people awoke. And standing tall and proud among them, he bade them with shameful words, be gone, unrequited, out of Doriath.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Just when you think Thingol had changed, he's like, nope, I'm not doing this again. I'm not taking any more crap today.
Yeah. Ripsy.
Yeah.
Oopsie doopsie.
But I couldn't help myself here. Thingol's pride and prejudice came back.
Nice.
Thank you. And of course, the dwarves do not take these rude words about their people from this haughty elf lightly. They are pissed. Quote, and they rose up about him and laid hands on him and slew him as he stood.
What?
So died in the deep places of Menegroth, Elwë, king of Doriath, who alone of the children of Iluvatar was joined with one of the Ainur, Melian, the Maiar, and he who alone of the forsaken elves, the elves that didn't live in Valinor, had seen the light of the trees of Valinor, with his last sight gazed upon the Silmaril.
Oh my goodness. That is not how I thought he would have died. I thought he would have been like, I'm going to be a good guy now. I'm going to fight in battle and for righteousness and good things and fight against the dark evil. But no, he died being very racist to dwarves and being selfish over shiny jewelry. Oh my gosh. What?
So I find it funny. Of course, the movies that we're seeing, there's always this aura of tension between elves and dwarves. And you're like, but why? This is why.
Yeah. Yikes. Uh-oh.
So that's actually where I'm going to leave you today, with two of our main characters crossed off the board.
Wow. I really didn't think that that's how he would have died. I thought he would have had a more epic... Dude, how come Tolkien is giving these characters like such epic stories, but then killing them so unepically?
Yeah.
They aren't getting this cool heroes.
On the other hand, I'm thinking about it. So what was Thingol's main quality throughout the story? His pride, right?
Selfishness.
And that is what killed him, right?
Yeah.
What was...
He had it coming. He had it coming.
I love that song. What was Finrod's main quality throughout the story? Self-sacrifice.
Helping people.
And that's what killed him. Like, it's just you can't have too much of one thing, I guess, is Tolkien's main takeaway. I don't know. There's a balance. I don't know how to explain it. An English teacher would love picking apart this story.
Who's the character that died fighting Morgoth, and he was like in super cool armor, and it was just him against Morgoth, and he was like stomped on?
Finarfin, I think.
Okay, that's my favorite way that a hero has died in this book, because I'm like, he was heroic. He was like, I don't know. It makes more sense to me that way.
He died fighting the main cause of the
Yeah, he died
fighting the main cause of the strife, not just...
Yes. Not by some werewolf in a pit.
Yeah. I have to make sure that it was Finarfin. Oh, no, wait. Finarfin is back in Valinor. I'm dumb. Fingolfin, maybe.
Yes. A elf.
Fingolfin. I was right.
Name.
Okay, yeah. Fingolfin. My bad. Finarfin is the one that stayed in Valinor, who we don't know anything about right now.
That's Galadriel's dad.
Yes. Fingolfin is Turgon's dad. All these names.
Well, I know. Elf, yeah.
So, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Sisters of the Shire Podcast. Become a Patreon and become a patron and join our Patreon. Yeah. At patreon.com/Sisters of the Shire Podcast. Please rate us on whatever platform you listen to your podcast on. I think we just got a new review on Spotify. Thank you for whoever did that.
I wanted to leave a review for there's a band that I really love, and they were asking, they're a small band, so they were kind of asking like how we do, like rate and review, and I don't know how to do it
on Spotify.
And I think maybe that might be on Spotify, on Apple Music, on Amazon. Like, I couldn't figure out how to leave a review.
So I don't think we can do
on your computer or on your phone.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if we can actually do like typing reviews anymore. I think you can just leave ratings.
I couldn't even get to like a star rating or whatever. I couldn't get to do that. I couldn't find the way to do that. So maybe that's other people's problem.
On Apple, if you are on our podcast page and you scroll to almost the bottom, there's a ratings and review, and it says tap to rate, and you can use the stars. Or there's write a review thing there. So there's that.
Okay, but I'm also trying to do it on Spotify.
So if you're on Spotify, you go to the podcast and you go to their main page and you hit their stars, I guess. You can see like how many. So I'm looking at like a podcast I listen to. It's saying they have like 4.9 stars out of 5. So you hit their stars and you can rate from there.
Oh, okay. I was confused. I couldn't do it on my friends.
You can't be in the episode. You have to be on the podcast like main page. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I saw on our Spotify that we have 23 reviews.
Yes, we do.
Thank you to those who did that.
And we had a country overtake another country.
Is it Germany?
Nope. Israel. Coming out of the blue is now at...
I know we have a big German following.
We did.
I was hoping that they were going to like keep going up.
No, they actually have been going down lately because Israel's been taking all the percentages. So US, of course, number one at 53%. Then Germany, Australia, the UK, Sweden, and Israel are now tied at 3%. And then Canada, Slovenia, Belgium, and the Czech Republic.
Wow. Awesome, you guys. It feels kind of surreal to know that our voices are being heard in other countries.
I know. And I feel bad that we only speak English. I'm sorry. You guys, you multilingual people out there, I am in awe. I don't know how you guys do it.
Hold on. I wanted to try something today. So, we learned some Elvish words, but I wanted to learn a Dwarvish word today. So I wanted to learn the Dwarvish word for friend, but then after you told me that story, I'm like, I don't know if that's...
yeah, they're not quite friends.
They're not quite friends anymore.
Yeah. What's the Dwarvish word for death?
Yeah, okay. How what's the Dwarvish word for murder?
Yes.
How about this? What's the Dwarvish word for
treasure?
Forging or treasure. Gold? What's the Dwarvish word for gold?
Sure.
Oh, the Dwarvish word for gold is faraz.
Spell it.
Pharaz.
Faraz. I like it.
Cool.
I like it. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this very cheerful, fun, delightful episode.
Loving, happy, full of just sunshine and rainbows.
Yes. And it's only going to get better, right?
Happy.
It can only go uphill from here, right? Right?
Yeah. I know. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Oh, no, wait, what?
Silmarillion. No happiness.
Okay. Is that what Silmarillion stands for? No happiness.
No happiness. You will cry. You will be sad.
Cool. Well, thanks for teaching me today.
You're welcome. Until next week, I've been Ashley.
And I've been Abby. And this has been the Sisters of the Shire podcast. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.